When people think of New Jersey, they might picture the boardwalks of Atlantic City, the diners and highways, or maybe just that famous attitude, part toughness, part pride. But behind the stereotypes lies one of the most fascinating, complex stories in American history. New Jersey has been called the crossroads of the Revolution, the Garden State, and even the pathway to modern America. It's the place where battles for freedom were fought, industries were born, and ideas that would shape the entire nation took root. This is the story of New Jersey, from its earliest native peoples and colonial settlements to the industrial might of its cities, and the cultural dynamism that continues to define it today. Let's go back, long before the turnpike, before the boardwalk, before even the name New Jersey existed. Long before Europeans set foot on the land we now call New Jersey, it was home to the Lenape people, also known as the Delaware Indians. For thousands of years, the Lenape lived in small, kin-based communities spread across what is now New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, southern New York, and Delaware. They were expert hunters, farmers, and traders, moving with the seasons, planting corn, beans, and squash in fertile river valleys, and fishing along the Delaware and Raritan rivers. The Lenape saw land not as something to own, but something to share, part of a sacred balance between people and nature. This worldview would clash dramatically with the ideas of the Europeans who arrived in the 1600s. In the early 1600s, European nations were racing to claim territory along the Atlantic coast of North America. The Dutch established a colony called New Netherland, centered around present-day New York City, which they called New Amsterdam. Their traders soon sailed south along the coast and up the rivers of what is now New Jersey. They built small trading posts like Fort Nassau, near today's Gloucester City, around 1626. The Dutch traded furs and goods with the Lenape, beaver pelts for tool, cloth, and beads. Not long after, the Swedes arrived, establishing New Sweden along the Delaware River in 1638. They built Fort Christina in today's Wilmington, Delaware, and later Fort Elfsborg in South Jersey. The Swedes were fewer in number, but remarkably resilient. They introduced log cabin building, a style that would spread across the American frontier. But the Dutch weren't content to share. In 1655, they sent troops under Governor Peter Stuyvesant to conquer New Sweden, absorbing it into New Netherland. The Dutch rule didn't last long. In 1664, the English seized New Netherland from the Dutch, claiming it for the English crown. King Charles II granted the land to his brother, the Duke of York, who in turn gave a portion to two loyal supporters, Sir George Carteret and Lord John Berkeley. They named their new province New Jersey, after the island of Jersey in the English Channel, Carteret's home. New Jersey was divided into two proprietary colonies. East Jersey, largely settled by English Puritans and Scots around Perth Amboy. West Jersey, settled by English Quakers, especially near Burlington and Salem. Each region had its own government, land policies, and religious leanings. Quakers in West Jersey promoted tolerance, fair dealings with Native Americans, and early forms of democratic governance, values that would echo later in American political life. But the division caused confusion and conflict. Boundaries were unclear, land titles overlapped, and loyalties divided. By 1702, the proprietors gave up control to the British Crown, uniting the colony as the province of New Jersey. During the 1700s, New Jersey's population grew rapidly. Immigrants poured in: English, Dutch, Germans, Scots, and Africans, both free and enslaved. New Jersey became a patchwork of farms, mills, and small towns. Its central location between New York and Philadelphia made it a vital link in colonial trade routes. Education flourished, too. In 1704, the College of New Jersey was founded, today known as Princeton University. By mid-century, the colony had a distinct identity. It wasn't as wealthy as Virginia or as crowded as Massachusetts, but it was diverse, industrious, and increasingly restless under British rule. When tensions with Britain boiled over in the 1770s, New Jersey found itself at the very heart of the American Revolution. In 1776, the same year the Declaration of Independence was signed, New Jersey adopted its first state constitution, one of the most progressive of its time, even granting limited voting rights to some women and black men, rights later rescinded in 1807. But it was on the battlefield that New Jersey earned its revolutionary reputation. The Battle of Trenton on December 26, 1776, changed everything. After crossing the icy Delaware River on Christmas night, George Washington led a surprise attack against Hessian mercenaries stationed in Trenton. It was a stunning victory that revived American morale. A week later came the Battle of Princeton, another crucial win that drove the British from much of the state. In total, more than 100 battles and skirmishes were fought in New Jersey, earning it the nickname the Crossroads of the Revolution. Washington's army wintered in Morristown twice, enduring bitter cold, but forging the resilience that would carry them through to victory. When independence was won, New Jersey faced the challenge of rebuilding. Its central location between two growing cities, New York and Philadelphia, became both a blessing and a burden. The state ratified the U.S. Constitution on December 18, 1787, the third state to do so. It also became the first state to ratify the Bill of Rights in 1789. In the decades that followed, New Jersey balanced its rural character with growing urban centers. Trenton became the state capital, and towns like Newark, Paterson, and Camden began to emerge as industrial hubs. By the early 1800s, New Jersey was transforming from farmland to factory. In 1791, Alexander Hamilton founded the Society for Establishing Useful Manufactures in Paterson, aiming to create America's first planned industrial city, powered by the Great Falls of the Passaic River. Paterson became a center for textiles, locomotives, and later silk manufacturing. Canals and railroads followed: the Morris Canal, the Delaware and Raritan Canal, and rail lines connecting New York to Philadelphia, turning New Jersey into a transportation powerhouse. Immigrants from Ireland, Germany, and later Italy and Eastern Europe flocked to the factories. Cities grew rapidly, bringing both opportunity and hardship. New Jersey also became a cradle of invention. Thomas Edison set up his Menlo Park laboratory in the 1870s, the world's first research and development lab. There, he invented the phonograph, improved the light bulb, and helped usher in the modern age of electricity. In the late 1800s, New Jersey earned a new nickname, the Garden State, a nod to its fertile farmland and booming produce trade. But this was also the Gilded Age, a time of both wealth and inequality. Cities like Newark and Jersey City were industrial powerhouses, producing leather, beer, chemicals, and machinery. At the same time, pollution, overcrowding, and labor unrest grew. Workers in Patterson's silk mills went on strike in 1913, demanding better conditions, one of the most famous labor strikes in U.S. history. Yet even amid the smokestacks, New Jersey's beaches and countryside offered respite. Resorts like Asbury Park and Atlantic City became playgrounds for the East Coast elite. The boardwalk, the saltwater taffy, they all began here. When the United States entered World War I, New Jersey became a vital industrial engine, building ships, producing munitions, and training troops at bases like Camp Dix, now Fort Dix. The state's location again made it strategically critical during World War II. Factories in Camden and Kearney built ships and aircraft. Scientists in Princeton and elsewhere worked on wartime research. After the war, New Jersey boomed. Highways spread, most famously the New Jersey Turnpike, Wheaton, opened in 19, and the Garden State Parkway, symbols of mobility and modern life. Suburban neighborhoods sprang up, filled with families seeking a piece of the American dream. But cities faced decline. Manufacturing jobs left, poverty and crime rose, and racial tensions erupted. Most tragically, in the 1967 Newark riots, sparked by police brutality and years of systemic inequality. Despite its struggles, New Jersey produced some of the most influential voices in American culture. From Frank Sinatra of Hoboken to Bruce Springsteen of Freehold, music became a language of resilience and pride. The state's diversity deepened. Waves of immigrants from Latin America, Asia, and the Caribbean transformed neighborhoods and cuisine alike. Politically, New Jersey reflected the nation's divides: suburban conservatism, urban progressivism, and everything in between. Environmental activism grew too. In the 1970s, the state began cleaning up polluted rivers and abandoned industrial sites, leading to the creation of the EPA's Superfund program, inspired partly by contamination in Love Canal and New Jersey's own toxic sites. By the late 20th and early 21st centuries, New Jersey had reinvented itself again. Pharmaceutical and biotech industries flourished. Giants like Merck, Johnson & Johnson, and Novartis called New Jersey home. The state became a commuter hub for New York City, but also a tech and research center in its own right, home to Bell Labs, where transistors and laser technology were pioneered. Higher education thrived. Princeton, Rutgers, and Stevens Institute of Technology became world leaders in research. Culturally, New Jersey embraced its contradictions: gritty and glamorous, suburban and industrial, rooted and restless. Television shows like The Sopranos and Jersey Shore shaped, and sometimes warped, its image, but the real New Jersey remained far richer and more complex. Today, New Jersey faces new challenges: rising housing costs, climate change threatening its coastline, and the struggle to balance growth with preservation. But through it all, its legacy endures. This is the state that helped birth the nation, that built its industry, that gave it music, invention, and a unique voice. From the Lenape to the Revolution, from Edison's light bulb to Springsteen's songs, New Jersey has always been more than just a place on the map. It's a crossroads of people, ideas, and history. And perhaps that's what defines New Jersey best: a small state with a big spirit, forever at the heart of America's story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of New Jersey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more American history videos.